Hey everyone, welcome to Judging for the Win. I'm Dave, and this is my daily ruling. Today's question was suggested by a viewer. Thanks to Arthur Giuliano for this one. Amy wants to play Village Rites, sacrificing her Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. How much mana does this cost? To answer this question, let's first recall that when you're casting a spell in Magic, you have to follow a specific set of steps in a specific order. For our question, the relevant ones would be the step where you calculate the cost to cast the spell, and the step where you pay the cost. Unsurprisingly, the step where you calculate the cost comes first. I would say that I'm not even sure how it would work if the steps happened in the other order, but I've submitted enough purchase requisitions to at least have a vague idea. Now, in any case, the important fact that we'll need to answer this question is that once the cost is calculated, that cost gets locked in and will not change even if some other stuff happens afterwards that might look like the cost should change. This gives us the answer to our original question. In addition to sacrificing a creature, Village Rites will cost 1 mana and a black mana to cast, because sacrificing a creature doesn't happen until after the cost is locked in. This principle works in reverse too, and allows cost reducers to work even if the amount of reduction changes during the process of paying the costs. For an example of this, check out my video on how Emery interacts with Chromatic Star. What about this? If you know the steps for casting a spell, you might recall that the very last step, after all the costs have been paid, is that the spell officially becomes cast. Does this mean that you could cast a Village Rites sacrificing Nikya of the Old Ways? And unfortunately, this one does not work. Even though the spell doesn't officially become cast until after all the steps have been performed, there's also this rule that says that a player must be legally allowed to cast a spell in order to begin the process of casting it, which means you couldn't even try to cast the Village Rites if you had a Nikya out. On the plus side, there actually is another application of this rule where it works out for us. Since the spell isn't officially considered cast until after all the costs have been paid, you would be able to sacrifice an Eidolon of the Great Revel to play a Village Rites, and you wouldn't take 2 damage in that case. I have a separate video where I talked all about that interaction in detail, so you can check that out if you'd like a fuller explanation. That's all I have for you today. How did you do? Join me again next time for another daily ruling. Until then, I hope you have a great day.